Alright guys, hello to my leveling guide for Shadow Hail of Arrows. Probably the best marksman build for 0.9, hands down. Strongest arena pusher, strongest boss killer, and also right now a pretty good mono farmer with the changes to shift that we'll show you later. Before I start, about the last leveling guide video that I put out, I basically switched the gear planner for you to basically, yeah, get damage early on with the elemental arrows instead of going full crit with Woundmaker. So if you're still interested in going bleed puncture into detonating arrow, it's still viable. It was a nerf, but now basically I balanced it out to get damage with elemental arrows rather than going full crit on Woundmaker. Check this out if you still want to play it, and if you have questions, just let me know. But this video will all about Hail of Arrows. And before we start, maybe some changes that came out. By the way, the full build guide is already out on Last Epoch Tools. I will still complete the build guide probably next week, but everything is there. Basically all the mechanics are explained. There will be some changes, of course, within the trees, but I will fix that, and you still can go the same way with it. So yeah, video build guide is also there. I put this out like 1.5 years ago, but mechanically it's still the same. Yeah, if you want to check this out, like I said, full video is also on my channel. Let's just talk a little bit about the changes. So Hail of Arrows now has less mana cost, which basically is a nerf to it, because we want to scale as much mana cost as we can. This is basically the node that makes it really strong. And where was it again? Here. But now we got a higher damage effectiveness at 325. So by testing it, Tank and I did the test on the multiplayer servers. The damage is pretty much the same. So absolutely fine with this one. The damage conversion now is a bit different, so we don't scale the whole cold damage from Reign of Winter. You basically have mixed damage base types like cold, fire, and lightning with the elemental arrows. This is completely fine because there is, where is it? This is like a really shitty build that I actually have. I don't have it even. I lost my main HoA, but basically you want to have the elemental damage over time affix on your gear, which benefits for all 3 damage types. That's why this is no damage nerf to us. There was a little nerf here on steady. Steady is this one, the duration. So basically we will have 3 points in 0.9. The tree is also a bit different in 0.9, but I already updated it, like I said, on LE Tools. And basically this was it. We don't use this one. For shift, why this build now is probably a really good monolith farmer as well, where it basically struggled before. There are 2 nodes, this head trauma and brascular here. It basically gives you together, if you spend all the points into it, 50% more damage for your next non-channeling bow attack, and this will be HoA. So basically now it's still increased damage multipliers, or increased damage, and now it's more damage. So before, I will just show you really quick how the mechanics work. Basically the playstyle looks like this. Smoke bomb to get the shadows out, dark quiver to get the black arrows out. You shift on top of one, click HoA, and then the huge dot numbers come out. By the way, this is not a typical ailment dot take. Basically this number that you see here, you basically multiply by 4 and then you have your DPS. So it was almost like 240k damage per second, while you can basically run around the whole time. That's why this build is mechanically so damn strong also in arena and on boss fights, because you can just focus on the telegraphed attacks, just dodge everything. Really, really strong build. And now with the buff to shift, basically, because in monolith it takes a while to basically get the whole setup out. Bam, bam. This makes it a really slow monolith farmer compared to something like Bow Mage or Dragon Song. But now, because of the more multiplier, you can just simply, on trash mobs, shift, right click, move on, shift, right click, move on. I don't know why they buffed this for, I don't know if it was for HoA, but basically the playstyle now is way better in Monolith. And yeah, again, a buff for this build. I expect a nerf pretty soon, but I hope they will do it right and not completely destroy it, because it's not broken. This build is far away from being broken. It's just mechanically really good. The damage numbers are fine. I mean, I saw Lich and Necro builds doing like, it's like fucking bullshit numbers. This doesn't even come close, but it's just mechanical, very strong. Leveling. This is the reason why you came here. So basically, I will stream it also on Thursday, and I will use this build as my starter because I want to push leaderboards with it. Bleed Puncture, it's the same way basically. Let's change real quick to here. Like this. So it's going to be the same concept. First you start Flurry, 1 point in it, Respec, then you get your Puncture. It's going to be the same way, 1-2 points in here, 1 point into the Frenzy node, because we only use Puncture until we get HoA. You don't need any other skill. The bleed ticks are really strong early on. 4 points in here, 3 points in here. After that I go 1 point in here, 3 points in here to basically shoot faster, to apply the ailments faster. This is pretty much it. You don't need more. You can do something like this. You can put, I don't know, a couple more points into here. You will lose the attack speed, but you get more damage. You can go for the shred. You can go for the mana. After that, it really doesn't matter, because at this point we already have HoA and we basically respec to it. Your second skill will, of course, be Shift. This time for HoA, I will not go the left way. I will already, and this is really, really important for you to know, HoA is a very mechanical build, and not every player will like this build, but it needs a good setup already early on to basically give the damage out. I go 3 points into here, 3 points into here for the movement speed buff, and then we already put 1 point into here. We will not use it while using Puncture, but it will come really handy later for Hail of Arrows. 3 points in here, 1 point in here, 1 point in here, and then at the end we put all the points into here for the more damage for HoA. Those are pretty much your first two skills. The leveling looks like this. Like I said, still the Bleed Puncture leveling, 8 points in here, 1, 1, 5. Then I put, let me just look real quick, 1, 2, 3 in here, 1, 2, and the rest of the points here. Also really important to overcap your rogue points, otherwise if you stay with 20, later when you respec you have to put Marksman points out first to put points out here again, and basically later we will respec those points into here, so it's really important to overcap your rogue tree. You have 25 points then we go Marksman. You could already set up the Marksman tree for Shadow Hail of Arrows, but you could also still buff the Bleed Puncture. The Bleed Puncture would go into here to get more attack speed and the health gain. I don't want to make it too hard for you because Bleed Puncture is really strong. You don't need that many passives in here, so I will already show you the right leveling tree for HoA. We go 4 points in here, 1 point in here. Then we go 8 points, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. This build will not use crit vulnerability. It's a dot skill, really important to know. There's no hit damage, only one mechanic inside of the HoA tree that I explain later. 3 points in here, 1, 1, 2. After that, we pretty much go all in for the movement speed. And after that, we just use a couple more points to unlock Hail of Arrows. So I put 1 point in here, and I would probably put 2 points into here for a little bit of health. Then we unlock Hail of Arrows. This will roughly be around level 40 if you do all the side quests with the passive points also early on. So you start with this build a little bit later, but it's important also to know that you need 3 skills, basically 4 specialization points to make it work. So in between, once you unlock your 3rd slot during the leveling phase, you already spec into Smoke Bomb. And this time it is really important, otherwise the build will not function. That's why we call it Shadow HoA. 1, 2, 1, and then 4 points into here to basically generate the shadows behind you. And on shift, this node basically makes the damage come out quicker, so not after 3 seconds to get 3 shadows out, but after 2 seconds, because here we have another shadow. And the main mechanics comes with this one. This is the big damage multiplier. Like I said, I have the video, I explain everything on my real build guide. This is just a quick showcase. Back to the leveling. Over here, like I said, this is the only important thing that you need. After that, I usually go 1, 2 here into the Silver Shroud to get the guaranteed dodge. After that, you can go slow, glancing blow, more duration, something like this, or even more Silver Shroud stacks. Up to you. The fourth skill, like I said, Hail of Arrows around level 40. This one is at level 36, the fourth slot, and this one will be Dark Quiver. With Dark Quiver, it's important to go here first. 1, 2, 3 points in here to go here, and then we max out this node, Umbral Resolution. This is the big damage number. After this, we spec into flat damage, because Hail of Arrow has a lot of damage effectiveness. We max out this. We put 1 point into here, and we max out the Dust Shroud stacks. While we are respecking the whole tree, we also respec Bleed Puncture into Hail of Arrows, and you will start going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And after that, because this one is the important node to have a long duration, but you can only cast it once. If I shoot it again here, then it's here, and then it's here. And then we go full AoE to make the clear faster for you. This is really important early on, because normally the area is not that big, but we focus on quality of life first, and then we go damage. After that, we put 1 point into Sky Strike. This is new to the build guide. It basically gives you a higher mana cost, which automatically makes it deal more dot ticks, and we also get like a hit. This is like the only hit that you do with this build, so technically it is possible to apply chill and frailty, but as I said, it's only 1 hit and you cannot really apply high stacks. So this is just like a really good node for good burst damage on trash mobs to kill mobs faster. After this, we focus on damage and duration again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then I would probably go with the cold conversion. You don't need cold early on, you don't need fire early on, the damage is still fine. The damage route would be for fire, the defensive route would be for cold. After that, more points into here, and my last point goes into Condom, which is basically like a really good crowd control skill. You shoot once, 1 second, slow, immobilize, duration, and you can run away, shift away, use decoy, just to be safe. While you have this set up, it's a little bit tricky. You still, I will just show you how I do this. Shift, Smoke Bomb, Dark Quiver. You still leave, and this is really important for you. I will also try to do like a timestamp there. I leave Puncture in there. I don't go decoy yet, because early on you will have some mana problems. And this is probably the mistake that most of the people do while leveling with this build. Sapping Strike is still very important early on to get the mana back with Puncture, and most of the people do the mistake to go Coated Blades first. Coated Blades should be one of your last passive to use, because it will increase your mana cost for Hail of Arrows so much that you cannot sustain it. And we basically need high mana regen first to really sustain the Coated Blades mana buff, basically. So this should be your last node. You will never have any damage problems. We go, as I said before, quality of life first. Really, really important. Okay, this is the point basically where we respec the rogue tree. Like I said, because we overcapped it, we can easily put points out here. Then we put the 5 points here. Then we put this out, max it here. Then we can put a couple of points out here. Put all the points into here. 1, 2, 3, 1, and then you can, for now, leave it like this, or you already switch to Marksman. Hail of Arrows doesn't need attack speed and doesn't need crit. It's a non-crit, it's a non-attack speed build because it's only one use, one duration. This is the cool thing about this build. Like I said, very mechanical, a little bit complicated. I hope you can still follow me. If you have questions in the comment section, I will answer it for you. Back to Marksman. Okay, here we cannot use this one because, like I said, we only attack once. We don't use this one, no attack speed needed. So then we put 1 point into here. Here you can decide a little bit how you want to play. I usually already go into here or give me a little bit more dodge chance. So basically I max this one out, put all the rest of the points into here, because this is also a really good damage increase for our build, and it will also give you increased mana and mana regen. Mana sustain is the most important thing in this build. You need around 15 to 18 mana regen on your character sheet to sustain the build, and then we increase the AoE for Hail of Arrows. I usually like to go here, 5 points for the movement speed. We take 2 silver rings. We scale a lot of movement speed because it's a very dodge heavy build where you just run around, and after that you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can basically go all in here for the health. You can go for the glancing blow setup, and over here, like I said, at the end I only go to Coated Blades to not have any mana problems. Then at the end you can put 8 points into here. We don't really need the points into here, because later, once you basically sustain your mana, you can not respec, but you can basically you can switch your builds or your skill into Decoy, which we also get here at level 50. But Decoy you use very rarely, only in arena or in really dangerous situations. But if you have mana problems, just stick with Puncture, non-specialized, in your skill bar, just to use the Sapping Strike mana gain. And from this point on, let me just see what I missed. Basically, at the end, I have 5 points here, and I have all the points into here, and that's your finish tree. It's the same that I have on the build guide. For Decoy, as I said, that's the panic button. 4 points into here to get the second charge, really important. 3 points in here to don't have mana problems. I put all the frailty stacks in here. It's also really important to have 3 frailty stacks on the enemy. Usually like 2 or 3 seconds are enough for me to run out of a dangerous situation with haste, and rest of the points into duration and into the dodge. That's pretty much it. For gearing, this is the only thing that you need. Silver rings, a boots with high movement speed, as high as you can. What else? A bow. While you do bleed puncture, just go for any bow with high attack speed. Something like a salvage bow is really good. Try to focus on something like bleed chance on top of it, bow attack speed. This is completely fine. Bleed puncture will carry you all the way into endgame. The only bow that you need for Hail of Arrows, and this makes leveling so easy with it, you only focus on your highest implicit. Like right on, when you get like HoA, you probably have like a northern bow, and the only thing that you need is to put as high flat damage on top of it. You will have a blue bow at the end. There's no suffix that is usable for you because you cannot hit the enemy, so you only run around with a blue bow until you find Rain of Winter. And the most important bow for this build until you find Rain of Winter is the longbow. So once you find this one and you are level 50, switch from here to here. You even have more flat damage, and your build is almost complete. That's it. Rain of Winter is not required, it's recommended. Really important to know. It's a complete SSF build that you can play, and then you're good to go in endgame. It's a little bit complicated because of the respec. You really have to know what you do. I would probably for the beginner still recommend the bleed puncture into detonating arrow. If you want to try out like a cool concept like this, go for it. I think I pretty much told you like all the important steps. If you have questions, let me know as always. And yeah, I mean, I will stream it on Thursday. I hope you will enjoy the build, and I will see you soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.